In 1914, the world had no idea it was about to enter one of the deadliest conflicts in human history. Europe was powerful, industrialized, and confident. Beneath that strength, however, tensions were growing. Military competition, imperial rivalries, and rising nationalism were pushing nations closer to disaster. One single event would ignite those tensions and plunge the world into a 4-year war that changed history forever. Today, we take a deep look at World War I, how it began, how it unfolded, and the staggering number of lives it claimed. At the start of the 20th century, Europe was divided into two major alliance systems, the Triple Entente and the Triple Alliance. Each nation promised to defend the others if war broke out. Countries were also competing for colonies in Africa and Asia. Military power was expanding rapidly, especially in Germany and Britain, which were locked in a naval arms race. On June 28, 1914, the heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne, Archduke Franz Ferdinand, was assassinated in Sarajevo by Gavrilo Princip, a Serbian nationalist. This single act triggered a chain reaction. Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia, and within weeks, much of Europe was at war. On the Western Front, Germany invaded France through Belgium. The war quickly turned into trench warfare. Soldiers lived in muddy trenches under constant threat from artillery, machine guns, and gas attacks. One of the bloodiest battles was the Battle of the Somme in 1916. Over 1 million soldiers were killed or wounded in just a few months. World War I introduced modern industrial warfare. Tanks, airplanes, submarines, and chemical weapons were used on a massive scale. Warfare became mechanized, and casualties rose to unprecedented levels. Throughout the entire war, approximately 9 to 10 million soldiers were killed. Over 21 million soldiers were wounded. Around 7 million civilians died due to famine, disease, and attacks. In total, the war caused an estimated 16 to 20 million deaths. Russia alone lost nearly 1.8 million soldiers. Germany lost about 2 million. France suffered around 1.3 million military deaths, while Britain and its empire lost close to 900,000 soldiers. These numbers reveal the enormous human cost of the conflict. On the Eastern Front, Russia fought against Germany and Austria-Hungary, but suffered devastating losses. In 1917, internal unrest led to the Russian Revolution, which forced Russia to withdraw from the war. Meanwhile, the Ottoman Empire joined the Central Powers, and fighting spread across the Middle East. As the war dragged on, entire empires began to collapse under the strain. The United States entered the war after Germany resumed unrestricted submarine warfare and attacked ships connected to American trade. President Woodrow Wilson declared war, sending fresh troops and resources to the Allied side. The arrival of American forces shifted the balance of power. By 1918, Germany was exhausted. Food shortages, economic collapse, and internal rebellion weakened the country. On November 11, 1918, an armistice was signed. The fighting stopped. In 1919, the Treaty of Versailles was signed. Germany was forced to accept responsibility for the war, reduce its military, and pay heavy reparations. The League of Nations was created in an attempt to prevent future wars, but it lacked the power to enforce lasting peace. The harsh terms imposed on Germany created anger and instability, setting the stage for World War II just 2 decades later. World War I caused the deaths of nearly 20 million people, including around 10 million soldiers. It destroyed empires, redrew national borders, and reshaped global politics. It was called the War to End All Wars, yet its consequences led directly to another even more devastating conflict. The lessons of World War I remind us how quickly tension can turn into catastrophe, and how the cost of war is measured not just in territory, but in human lives.